I woke up way before everyone, way before even the birds. The whole world was sleeping and the house was totally calm and peaceful. I switched on the electric coffee maker, and as the coffee was boiling, I put on my brief and sweatshirt. And I put on the jogging shoes and continued sipping the coffee and had a few crumbs of salted biscuit. Quietly, so as not to wake anyone up, I opened the door and looked out into the hallway. Scooby, our German shepherd, was lying there. He lifted his head, cocked an eyebrow at me, as though asking, "And then, Arun, where are you off to at this unearthly hour?" I tiptoed to the door, opened it, and silently stepped out into the calm pre-dawn air. Everything was silent. It was so peaceful, so nice, so blissful. I did a few stretches and ran out into the streets, onto the main road. There was not a car, not a cycle, not even a pedestrian. Everything was peaceful. And there was a gentle breeze blowing as though carrying away all the concern and worries with it. I was enjoying this blissful moment when suddenly there was a massive crash. I jumped up, somehow stopped myself from falling off the bed. My dream rudely awakened. It was a few moments before I could gather my wits and remember where I was. Room number 274, Brocha Hostel. July 5th, 1976. My first night at BHU. I looked in the direction from where the sound had come. I could see the rattling of my doors. And beyond the door were a group of people. In front of them was, I think, the leader who had kicked the door. He must have been a person of about 5 feet 2, 5 feet 3 of slender build. And he was having that swagger which told me that possibly he was a guy who is normally, when he is alone, very submissive, but when he is with his friends, a big boss. Rage boiling inside, I sat up. As though to confirm my doubt, that person, he let out a sister expletive, following it up with a series of utterly rubbish cuss words, ordered me to come out. As I was getting ready to move, I remembered the words of Monadi. She had cautioned me not to get into any scraps. I could not but admire her, that she could foresee what was going to happen. I got up. 3 steps brought me in front of that person. And before I could realize, I had delivered a strong blow on his face. My fist connected with his nose, making a crunching sound. His nose opened and blood splattered on him, the people around him, and on me. I don't know who was more surprised, he, his friends, or me. It seemed to tell me, "Welcome, Arun, to BHU. Now let's see what the hell you are going to do. You have started off a journey in real danger." BHU during those days was a den of gundas and antisocial elements. There were 2 handguns to every head in BHU. One politician had even commented that BHU needs to be closed down for 2 decades if it has to be rid of all its antisocial elements. There were 3 prominent gangs operating in BHU at that time. And Chiranjeevi Bhadodia of Dhanbad, a person supposedly doing his PhD in geology department, was one of the leaders of those gangs. And Vineet Tiwari, the person whom I had hit, was one of his protege. As he was being taken away, there was only one question in my mind. Should I reach out to Monadi for help, or should I stand up and be counted? This decision was going to decide how my stay in BHU will be. And I had to be there in BHU for at least 3 to 4 years. It was a difficult decision. I sat down, thought about it for some time and decided I will go it alone and see what happens. I went off to sleep. An insistent knocking on the door woke me up the next day. The door was open, but no one had entered it. They had knocked. I could see a group of people standing there. I went to them. They informed me that they are from Babu Sahib, pronounced as Bau Sahib. And that's how Chiranjeevi Bhadodia was addressed in BHU during those days. I requested them for some time to freshen up. I told them, you please go. I'll come and follow you. I took the details from them. But they were not willing. They wanted me to accompany them. But I firmly told them that I will not be able to accompany and that I have got no intention of running away from BHU and that I will come and meet Bau Sahib. For some obscure reason, they accepted my argument and went away. Bau Sahib and Vineet Tiwari were staying at Birla Hostel. Room number 41, Birla Hostel, where they stay, overlooks the main road. There was no furniture in the room. There was a big mattress and on which were pillows like those which you found in Marwadi Gaddis. When I went there, there were around 30-40 people standing in the corridor. And this boy whom I had hit, who I came to know was Vineet Tiwari, was standing in one corner. I thought that this information is very important. That Vineet Tiwari is in the corner and not inside the room. It indicated that Vineet Tiwari was not a very important member of the gang. Inside the room, there was a person leaning on the pillow, and next to him was a Mauser revolver. Around him were around 5 people. I could understand that the person leaning on the pillow must be Bau Sahib, Chiranjeevi Bhadodia, and I addressed him. I introduced myself and very politely asked him the reason for my being called. Chiranjeevi Bhadodia sneered at me and in a harsh tone asked me in the local language why I had come to Banaras, to study or to do gundagardi. The sizing up had begun. I kept quiet. I had introduced myself in Hindi, but I was a Madrasi. So I knew the obvious questions will follow, and they followed. He wanted to know where I was from, how I came to be in Banaras, how I know the local language so well. And all along, I was standing and he was sizing me up, and his people were sizing me up. Suddenly, he asked me, what punishment do you think I should give you for hitting Vineet Tiwari? I knew the crunch had come. I remembered what Monadi used to tell her people. She used to give the analogy of a swimmer who suddenly finds himself surrounded by killer sharks. She used to say, never break the rhythm. Continue swimming in the same way. The sharks will size you for some time. And if they find you are not easy meat, it is more likely than not that they will swim away. I decided to do the same thing and bluff my way out. I kept quiet. I did not answer him. He insisted, you will have to tell me what punishment you deserve. You have sent Vineet to hospital and don't think we are going to let you off. Looking at Bau Sahib, in a very polite tone, I told him, Bau Sahib, you are a Bahubali. You are a strong man. I am in your room surrounded by your people. I am absolutely sure you don't require me to answer what you should do with me. But since you have asked this question, I will tell you what I think. Bau Sahib, I think you have become a Bahubali by making friends and not enemies. And I have come to BHU to study and to make good friends. I would love to be a friend of yours. And as a token of my acceptance of you as my boss and leader, I give you the right to decide what you should do to me. But Bau Sahib, only you should do. If anybody touches me, I am assuring you that I will see to it that that person will leave BHU and go away forever. Today is one day, tomorrow is another day. You have called me to your room. Whatever you say, whatever you do, I'll accept. I will not talk anything. I take you as my elder brother. And I kept quiet. Bhau Sahib looked at me for a few moments. He looked at others. I could see from the corner of my eye that Vineet was standing by the door. Bhau Sahib signaled to Vineet to come in. He told Vineet, Vineet, slap him. Vineet gave me a massive slap and I staggered back. Then Vineet took the next step forward. Bhau Sahib stopped him. He said, I told you only to slap him once. He hit you once, you have slapped him once, you both are even. I don't want this hostility to be continued. And if it is continued, and if Arun does anything to you after today, don't come to me. One of the boys came and asked me to sit down. I sat down on the mattress. I was offered tea. By that time, Vineet had left the room. After a few moments, Bhau Sahib said, you know, Vineet had wanted to take some boys and beat you up. He said this smilingly and jokingly. I did not say anything, I kept quiet. After some time, when it was time for me to leave, I got up. I thanked Bhau Sahib for treating a newcomer and a junior so well. And I wished and hoped that our relationship will grow and develop into a good relationship. Before leaving, I asked him, can I tell you something, Bhau Sahib, if you don't mind? He smiled and nodded. I told him, Bhau Sahib, if Vineet Tiwari and his friends try to take revenge, they would have created a hostility which will end only with their leaving BHU. Please tell it to them. I am not looking for trouble, but if it comes to me, I can be a big trouble myself. Bhau Sahib was looking at me with question in his eyes, but smiled. And he said, Jao, jao, dekh lenge. Don't worry. I turned round and walked away. With 40 piercing eyes behind me, looking at me. I could feel their piercing look. I knew that I had left them with a good impression, and in all probability, my stay in BHU will be uneventful from then onwards. Friends, after that I was there from 1976 to 1979, and I had a very happy time. I made hundreds of friends, no enemies. Within 3 months of that incident, Vineet got MBBS admission in Russia and went away. Babu Sahib was found shot dead. With the death of Bhadodia and Vineet leaving, one chapter closed. Friends, consistency is a gateway into the mind of the reptilian brain. Non-verbal cues is a trigger, and negotiation is an element. When I hit Vineet Tiwari, I signaled to them that I was short-tempered, impulsive, and did not think about the consequences. Next day morning, when they came and called me and I refused to go, but still I went afterwards alone, I signaled to them that I was fearless and was willing to take a chance. And my behavior in the room in front of Chiranjeevi Bhadodia must have convinced them that here is a person who is not very scared. And every gang requires hot-headed youngsters to build itself. So maybe they thought of me as a possible gang member. Let us remember, friends, that language as a means of communication came only 150,000 years ago. So what was the reptilian brain doing? How was it understanding the surrounding? how was it communicating for all the rest of the 320 million years? It was to non-verbal cues. And the non-verbal cues which it got from me was, it saw that I was calm, I was collected, I was having an enigmatic smile on my face, and I appeared as though there was something up my sleeve. As a Madrasi, I was not expected to behave that way, but I did. It saw in me a person who was very strong, very tough, and very fearless. Finally, when I showed it the difference between friendship and enmity, and while leaving, when I told Chiranjeevi Bhadodia that if Vineet Tiwari and his friends try to take revenge on me, I will see to it that they are driven away from BHU. I indirectly showed the consequences, the risks and benefits of such a behavior to the reptilian brain, and it found that the risk and the benefit did not balance. Consistency, non-verbal cues, and negotiation saved the day for me. Come friends, subscribe to the channel so that when the next episode of Who is Talking To comes and is posted, you can go through it, you can watch it and learn something more about the reptilian brain. After all, the reptilian brain is what decides for us. I am Arun Subramanian, your success coach, signing off for this episode, but with just one last advice. If ever you find yourself in a position from which you need to extricate yourself with your prestige, image, and respect intact, don't forget to ask, who are you talking to? Thank you.